and dear guests of our roundtable. And I'm happy to welcome our dear speakers. Today we have a roundtable devoted to the breakthrough technologies for mature oil reserves, a new paradigm of economical effectiveness and decarbonization. And our roundtable is being held within the 15th Economic Forum, Russia, Islamic World, Kazan Forum 2024. My name is Daniil Sorokin. I am the moderator of this roundtable. I'm the director of the Industry Center in the field of technological development. And if somebody cannot hear the translation, please organize. We need 2 more devices for interpreting. Let's continue. Today, I would like to have the subject discussion with certain results. And today we will focus on the results of applied and fundamental research, which could be applied in oil and gas companies in Russia and in the countries of our partners. And today we would be happy to discuss these technologies with you and discuss the mechanism of partner cooperation to introduce these technologies in our countries. And I know that today we will have the presentations of our partners. They will present the technologies which are developed there and could be used in Russia. And here we have partnership cooperation model which could be implemented. And we'll discuss the approaches to such partner cooperation and many other things. Let me introduce the members of our presidium. We have a combined forum. Somebody is present online, somebody is present here. We have representatives of the federal agencies of the Russian Federation, the Deputy Minister of the Natural Resources and the Environment of the Russian Federation, Konstantin Anatolievich Tsyganov, Evgeny Petrov, Head of the Federal Agency for Mineral Resources of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Guskov, Deputy Minister for Industry and Trade of the Republic of Tatarstan. Also, we have the Vice Principal, Diakonov Alexander, who is the Vice Principal of the High School of Oil. Also, Jaziri Alkaf Abdullah Sufai, the Senator of the State Council of Malaysia. He is present here. Mr. Awad Mohammed, Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy of Libya. He's also present here in the hall. Tanet Said Ahmad Al-Shafari, Chairman of Transgulf Energy LLC from Oman. He's present here as well. And also Elena Tishenko, Advisor of the Dean of the Faculty of Economics, Moscow State University. So this is the membership of our session. We have 90 minutes for discussion, and I would like to give the floor to the first Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and the Environment of the Russian Federation, Konstantin. The floor is yours. Now, good afternoon, dear colleagues. And on behalf of the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment of the Russian Federation, I'm happy to welcome you at the session of the strategic session devoted to technologies for mature oil reserves, information decarbonization, and international transformation will be discussed here within the framework of Kazan Forum. And Kazan Forum is the key platform for the cooperation of the Russian Federation and the Islamic states. And today, fossil fuels are still relevant, and it's still the major source of energy. And that's why the declaration of ecological, energy effective, and economic technologies for hydrocarbons research, exploration, and development is still one of the key tasks we are facing. And from year to year, we can see the deterioration of reserves. And the key organizer of the strategic session is the scientific center of the global level, rational declaration of liquid hydrocarbons reserves. And I should note that the implementation of the fundamental and applied scientific research activity is being done with the help of the government of the Russian Federation. Our Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment is interested in the results of the research, and we underline the high potential for the introduction of these technologies and the activity of oil and gas companies. And this center is based on 4 educational institutions which occupy leading positions in the country to prepare specialists in oil and gas industry and developing the innovative technological solutions for oil and gas chemical complex. And the major receivers of these results are large companies in oil and gas sector in Russia. And today the center will present their technological solutions which could be interesting for the OASC countries. And our colleagues from the countries will represent the strategies and challenges they are facing in their countries. And also we'll discuss the mechanisms of international cooperation to ensure the technological sovereignty and achieving leadership of our countries via cooperation. I wish everyone fruitful work and development of cooperation between our countries. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Konstantin Alexandrovich. Today we will try to receive this benefit from our discussion, and we'll discuss the results which are applicable in Russia and in our partner countries. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Petrov, who is a representative of the Federal Agency on Reserves Exploration and Management, and he will also tell us about the partnership cooperation in terms of technoparks activity, and we will also discuss other mechanisms. Some technologies, some technological product which was developed in Russia and which could be offered to our partners as a service, or this could be some joint venture which can implement these technologies in Russia. And I would also address our international partners what mechanism would be interesting for your countries so that we could use these technologies in your countries and use your technologies in Russia. Okay, Evgeny, I give you the floor. Thank you very much. Can you hear me well? Okay, dear colleagues, I'm happy to welcome you in Kazan, a wonderful sunny city. I would like to welcome all our partners who we're working with. Unfortunately, I can't be present personally there, but we're always open to any contacts and mutual cooperation and partnership. Today I would like to present in short the fields of our activity and develop this topic at the international level. It's not a secret that today the market for exploration and development of reserves equipment is still developing, though we have achieved a breakthrough in terms of software development and use of information tools. But today we'll focus mostly on oil and gas industry, because the major problem of oil and gas industry is linked to the exploration and extraction of hard-to-recover reserves. And it's a relevant problem for many states. That's why I think it would be interesting to discuss it. And it's not a secret that the major directions of our activity in oil and gas industry and which faced sanctions include equipment for oil reserves, exploration, research, development, and also technical solutions and software solutions for these activities. But we have good Russian analogs which are being introduced in our market, and they're actively developing using another technological level because they are already adapted to the use of AI and big data processing. And we conducted the analysis of the data of the whole cycle for oil fields, starting from the research and finishing with the completion of oil wells, shows that foreign equipment and technologies are mostly used in certain directions in oil and gas industry, including information technologies, and they're responsible for the operation of certain equipment. But when the sanctions were introduced, it increased the risks of their use in our industry and could undermine it. But we were able to substitute these tools and products. And one of the major functions of our agency is the major regulator in research and exploration of oil reserves. Is based on focusing on expert and technological group. They consider all oil exploration projects, and we take into account the use of Russian technologies for the exploration and development of oil reserves in Russia, and thus we can effectively introduce Russian technologies. So thus we have prepared the whole overview of the equipment used for such activities. And upon the request of our oil and gas companies, we check the quality of introducing these technologies for exploration and development, and we include the examples of using these tools, and thus a company could take this technology and use it from this list. And of course, it helps to increase the use of software tools for oil reserves development, and the developing companies always know what demand they will have in the next few years. And it's important for us to create new methods to have deeper geological exploration of oil reserves, especially hard to recover reserves, because we should have an innovative approach to the exploration and development, because we should have closer research and more detailed approach to the exploration and development. And in terms of developing such innovations, we have developed a park of technological innovations for fossil fuels development. And our purpose is to ensure the technological basis for Russia to release the pressure on oil exploration and development, because we use Russian technologies. It helps to relieve the pressure. So thus, over the last year, we have approved more than 115 Russian international technologies, and currently they are being introduced in the production to different levels. And we can see that a lot of companies are now substituting foreign tools with Russian tools for exploration and development. And I would like also to underline that there is one more key technology which was developed by our agency within import substitution program. I think you have heard that there are two companies in the world who are monopolies in oil reserves development and who developed the technological programming. It was in Disintegro in terms of geological exploration and projecting. This technology was successfully introduced in Russian companies. As for studying offshore reserves and marine shelves, we also have a tool for exploring such reserves and for continental shelves. Russia depended on foreign companies, CCL or IO, but currently we can also see substitution of these tools, and we have introduced, with the help of Gazprom and TMG, new tools such as CRAB, and this equipment has been used for more than a year for rigs in oil reserves development, and it has shown very good qualities. And also, we have designed another tool for geological filming and X-raying, and it's been issued in Russia for many years. It's a gravimeter of a new level. It helps to calculate acceleration of speed, and it helps to see the data in real time, and thus specialists can get information in real time, very timely. And also, I would like to mention the drone complex, which is used for geological exploration. It's equipped with magnetometric complex X-ray scanning, and thus we can see the 3D model of the landscape. So in terms of geology, this complex helps us to cover a lot of activities in terms of fossil fuels development. But we don't stop here. We continue exploring new tools and develop new tools and introduce them in Russian companies, and we rely on our foreign friends among our audience that they will pay attention to these technologies and will be able to share our experience and such tools, so that they could be introduced for geological exploration, for reserves in their countries. That's all, in short, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I will definitely have a question to you, but first I would like to ask a question to our members of this session. So have you heard of these technologies? I suppose you haven't heard of all of them. It's quite a rhetorical question, mostly. Evgeny, I have a question to you. We need to think how we can share this information with our partners, how we can exchange information, and perhaps we should organize a certain mechanism for involving our partners in technoparks. And I think such questions should be carefully thought of within our session. And I think our meetings should be regular, so that we can continue the line of discussion which we start today. And I suppose our colleagues would be interested in being involved in studying the results of our research, and think how they can use these tools and technologies And the major question of our discussion, what mechanism of partner cooperation could be used for introducing our technologies in partner countries and introducing their tools in Russia. I think it would be interesting to discuss the mechanism of cooperation. What do you think? Do you agree with such plan? Yes, I think these are good questions, and a lot of industry enterprises have reached a lot in studying new tools for fossil fuels exploration and development. In terms of marketing and popularization of tools, I can say that our market is quite narrow, and this marketing is not widespread. And I suppose we should organize some technological platform where our developers and developers from other countries could present their tools and technologies. And this platform should be open, and it could be used by our colleagues and partners. For example, if they need to have the filming of a certain landscape in a certain scale, and thus we could think how reasonable it would be to use such technologies in a certain region. The more such equipment is used, the higher quality it will present, and more widely it will be used, and we're interested in this. I suppose we should sum up our session later, and we'll continue the idea which was presented by you. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Guskov, the Deputy Minister of Industry in Tatarstan, the Republic of Tatarstan. Could you please tell us about the advantages of the region where we have gathered and tools for potential partnership and cooperation which are now used and which we should develop? And we can see from the presentation of the previous speaker that we definitely have the ground for partnership, and we will listen to other speakers later who will tell us about their tools, and they could be in demand. So I give the floor to Mr. Guskov. Dear colleagues, I represent the Minister of Industry and Trade of the Republic of Tatarstan. I'm happy to welcome you at this forum. If we talk about technologies, I suppose our distinguished speakers will tell in more details about them. I will tell you in general about the Republic of Tatarstan, about its climate, infrastructure, climate zones. And first I would like to mention that the Republic of Tatarstan is located at the merge of two rivers, the Kama and the Volga, and it's a sort of a bridge between the European and the Asian parts of Russia. And it's also a bridge for cooperation between Russia and the rest of Asia. Tatarstan is one of the developed regions in Russia, and it has powerful industrial development. We have a very attractive investment ground, and I would like to mention that almost 50% of our VRP accounts for industrial production. The index of industrial production for the past year was 103%, and it grows continuously. Talking about the infrastructure of our industry, it includes oil development, oil refining, oil chemistry, machine building, and these are the major pillars of our industry. Talking about oil development, we're proud to say that we refine most of the oil which we extract here in this region. Tatarstan is the center for producing petroleum chemicals, And we have big companies who process petroleum products and produce polymers. One of the key companies on production of caoutchouc is the company Nizhnekamsk Neftekim. Another big company in terms of petroleum chemistry is Petroleum Synthos, Kazan Synthos. They produce polymers, copolymers, and products of synthesis. And I should also mention Nefis company. It occupies 30% of the Russian market. It unites two big industrial complexes for the production of detergents and also plastic bottles. And now they're also cooperating with the petroleum chemistry industry. Talking about our cooperation with other regions, Tatarstan has the suitable infrastructure. We have the most successful economic zone, and I can say that it's the most successful economic zone among other economic zones in Russia. Its name is Elaboga, and Tatarstan is the leader in innovative technologies and use of high technologies. We have built Innopolis. It's an innovative city, and a lot of companies have located there. And we also have economic zone organized in that city with the similar name. Tatarstan holds a lot of international events and international forums to share our achievements with other countries. Recently, we had an energy forum in April, and today we are present at the Economic Forum Russia Islamic World, and next forum will be in August. It will be big oil and gas forum, and later we will have Kazan Digital Week, and in autumn we will also hold BRICS forum. More detailed information could be received about the potential of the Republic of Tatarstan and companies located in our region, about their potential and developments. And cooperation with our companies could be received by Made in Tatarstan, Invest Tatarstan, these websites. You can open these websites using QR codes in the screen, and I suppose they might help to organize cooperation with our republic and have sort of bridges between you and our region. Tatarstan has been developing oil for 80 years, and actually I can say that our reserves were quite hard to reach, but the experience which we have accumulated over 80 years has shown that we have people who are involved in this activity for generations, and we have some generations of specialists who continue working in this industry, and they share their experience from generation to generation, and it helps us to have a breakthrough, to go ahead. Thanks to economic zones, thanks to universities, educational institutions, and the leadership of our republic. And thus we have a conglomerate which helps us to unite our forces and move ahead. And we are ready to share with our republics. That's why we have such forums, and we organize special economic zones, and we're also ready to have joint ventures on the territories of your republics. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks very much. I'd like to note that there is another mechanism, special economic zone says. It's very important for building partnerships. These are technoparks that Evgeny mentioned previously, and Dmitry also mentioned the regional opportunities for building partnerships. Now, let's look at these mechanisms of partnerships. We're all in the same boat, and for all of us, generally, some technologies became unavailable, so we were forced to look for alternative solutions. And uniting our country's scientific and technological potential and solutions, we help each other to overcome temporary difficulties with technical outfit. Now we're not talking just about emergency replacement, but about breakthrough technologies. We've got some great ideas that will enable us to potentially become technological leaders, but we need great communications platforms to exchange technologies, to study jointly these technologies, creating products that using these partnership models can be implemented in our country and in your countries as well, in the neighboring states. This would be a great goal for our discussion for the subject at hand today. Now, I'd like to give the floor to Denis Nurgaliev. He is the initiator of the world-class scientific center that has been developing applied research for the last 18 months, already implemented in Tatarstan. And today we mentioned there are some key companies in the oil and gas industry. They're already using the results of their research, already tried and tested. Other oil and gas companies are also trying them. And that's what was discussed today. Since these demanded and required technologies, they can also be useful in your technological processes, gentlemen. So these technologies are not exhaustive. This is not an exhaustive list, but our future cooperation will also open opportunities for new technologies, but we need to begin to embark on this road. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, dear moderator, I'd like to welcome all of you here in Kazan at this wonderful forum. I think it will be very productive and timely. And now I'd like to talk about our results over the recent years within the framework of World Class Scientific Center, WCSC. Russia has been creating this type of centers focusing on certain problems. Today we have 10 of these centers in Russia. 4 of them are focused on healthcare, while others work on photonics, oil and gas, digitalization, and so on. One of the areas of oil and gas, this center is based in Kazan. The leading university, Kazan Federal University, and the consortium includes another 3 universities. Largest Russia's universities, Skoltech, Gubkin University in Moscow, and Ufa Federal University. They graduate about half the experts for oil and gas industry in Russia, and also prepare experts for 20 other countries, Middle East, Latin America, Asia, all of the countries in oil and gas industry. And annually thousands of experts, not just Russian, go through internships, go through qualification, enhancement, studies, courses in our centers. The focus of the centers is fundamental and applied research in creating the technologies for oil and gas extraction, oil and gas exploration with minimum hydrocarbon footprint. This is also minimum carbon footprint. This is an important point today. One of the tasks of our center is improve efficiency in developing giant deposits. There are about 10 of these deposits in Russia that that represent over half of all oil and gas reserves. Our technologies, first of all, allow to increase available reserves twice and also to reduce cost. with cost reduction, environmental factor has to increase, so providing for minimum carbon footprint. Now, the key areas of our research is the technology of detecting gas accumulation basins. And Russia is a huge country. Half of the territory has not been sufficiently explored. And there are huge oil and gas reserves, including on the shelf, exist. So we need to create technologies which will enable us to quickly find these technologies, assess their reserves, and also assess the best ways to extract these resources for this to be economically viable. Also, giant deposits and basins. Today, the fluid extracted only contains about 5% oil. And it's very timely, not just for Russia, but for all oil and gas countries. Non-traditional resources. These are difficult types of oil to extract. We need special technologies, chemistry, some reagents, various hydrotracking, for instance, and other technologies. All of these technologies are being developed at the WSCS that we are representing. Among our partners are included all of the largest Russia's and international oil and gas companies, Cuba, Colombia, China, Azerbaijan, Oman, Turkey, Uzbekistan, Belarus, Kazakhstan are all included on this slide, on this brand wall. And our companies represent for exploration of technologies Gazprom, Neft, Tatneft, Lukoil, other Russian companies, premier companies in the industry, and certainly technologies can be used also in other countries and other territories. As a consortium, we created scientific infrastructure of world class. In our laboratories, we can proudly claim them to be world's best. The system of creating scientific world-class centers enabled creating world-class labs in geocryology, geomechanics, geochemistry, petrophysics, heat methods of EOR, chemical methods. They provide important experience not just for Russia, but also other countries. Today we have projects Cuba, Oman, China, Colombia. We are conducting various research. And the results that were derived throughout our research at the center, some of them are absolutely unique. I can give you some cases in point. Stable isotope research, thermogeological research, and improving oil extraction efficiency using various methods. Certainly, we enjoy a great laboratory enabling us for oil and gas condensates extraction. These are difficult types of oil. These are super dense types of oil, and to study their properties, we created a laboratory which is used today by largest Russian international companies. I can give you some cases in point of our technologies. For instance, a technology for optimizing the selection of drilling sites at the poorly explored areas received implementation at many Russian companies, Gazprom in Western and Eastern Siberia, Rosneft, Gazprom Neft, Lukoil. All of these companies are using our technology successfully. It's used today as a package technology. Very powerful software suite is used. And all of the technologies we create are type of software, right? These are technologies using AI and neural networks to efficiently process and compute the data derived from research. Now, serious interests exists in China towards these results, Colombia, Africa, Central America. These technologies are also being implemented. Very interesting to note the technologies and software for improving efficiency for developing giant deposits and basins. Here you see some specs. Geochemical data is used, seismic data, other types of data, various types of research accumulated over decades enable us to create software to optimize development of giant basins and deposits, even waterless dry oil. So it enables us to increase reserves almost double, practically twofold, and reduce costs. There are no similar programs anywhere in the world. Now, active reagents also enable us to develop carbonate collectors with large salinity and high temperature over the reservoirs. These chemical reagents are also being successfully used by Russian companies, and they can find implementation also in the Middle Eastern countries that has super dense oil like Oman, Kuwait, and other countries. One of the brightest cases, most interesting cases, are the cycle of technologies for non-traditional sources, such as super dense oil and oil from dense deposits. These technologies are emerging worldwide today, and we call these technologies processing underground. We use catalyzers for improving and pre-processing in the oil basin using heat, thermal methods, steam methods, burn methods, various catalysts that enable, with reduced carbon footprint, to extract oil, which only 10 years ago we did not consider accessible. So it could be said that for development of this technology, one of the heads of our project, a young scientist, received last year an award of the President of the Russian Federation. Only 4 of these awards are being handed yearly. One of these was received for this development. Now, dense collectors, we're using foam systems. Foam as a reagent has certain advantages, such as high penetration area usage, and also low penetration area usage provides for effective use of foam. Another efficient technology or a group of technologies are thermal methods, thermal EOR, supercritical burning, supercritical water treatment, also include thermal treatment systems. Last year, we held conferences in Turkey, year before in Azerbaijan, before that in Colombia and China. This year, the conference will take place in Russia at Kazan University, because this year we're celebrating the 220-year anniversary of Kazan Federal University. That's where we discuss these thermal methods, and today Kazan is one of the most important scientific centers in using thermal methods for gas and oil EOR. Now, I must mention also the oil and gas technologies. When extracting oil, for instance, in dense collectors, there are some very interesting developments we're using not just in Russia, but also in the Middle East and China. These technologies are being used, and these technologies will also find use in other countries, Middle East countries present at the forum. Another very interesting technology is geochemical monitoring of deposits of any types of reserves. The technology today is so well developed that administering the oil content, isotope content, is very cheap and cost-effective, also fast. Only 5-10 years ago, this was unique data, but today it's being efficiently used to improve efficiency of development of any types of deposits. Traditional hydrocarbons, dense collectors, and also super dense oil. These technologies are also being used in the Middle East today. I think in the nearest years, these technologies will begin working in China. In Oman, we're also offering this. And these technologies enjoy great potential in the nearest future. I also wanted to tell you about FlowMax circulation diverting tool. It also found an implementation successfully, not just in Russia, but in China and other countries. It improves hydraulics when drilling horizontal and angled wells. And FlowMax circulating diverting tool is highly effective in improving hydraulic specs in drilling angled and horizontal wells. It provides for efficient cleaning from flak, improving flushing capability, and other specs. Now, these are some of the developments which see wide implementation, not just in Russia, but also overseas. And I feel that in the nearest future, jointly with the colleagues, we'll find capacity and methods to implement these technologies in other countries. Thanks very much, Denis Karlovich. Now we should ask you a question. You have already partially responded, so joint scientific research, I think, would be quite an interesting subject. Do you have any joint research at the moment? Perhaps you could expand on the subject. Elaborate, please. For our international participants, perhaps this could provide an opportunity to become technological partners, or perhaps become clients for ordering some scientific research using our technological base to get some products from you. Perhaps it could be a service provided by Kazan University and your center and our leading university consortium. Perhaps it could be a JV that could provide for perfecting the technology and then implementing it in our country and other countries. We should discuss these mechanisms. Is there any experience today? Yes, certainly. In terms of research, we're working with many universities. Fundamental exploration research is performed jointly with Oman, for instance, Turkey as well, Azerbaijan, China, other countries in the Middle East. We're working with universities, mind you. Today, we have experience of implementing our technologies through universities. We begin cooperation with companies, but it provides only limited implementation, certainly. Now we're looking at JVs in other countries. Through these joint ventures, we could hand over our developments, our patents, and implement on location these products, these technologies, all of the chemistry, reagents, and hardware we're making, and become very useful, not through just cheap, cost-effective, efficient technology, but also through implementation in countries, through JVs with universities and companies, so that our state receives an effect not just from technology, but also from implementation, certainly not just in Russia, but overseas. Yes, working with universities, training, education, further education. Well, I think Denis is now going to introduce our next speaker. And let me emphasize that I'm addressing our international participants. We provided you with some scientific ideas and some results of research. We said these technologies enjoy good economic effect that could be used in your own countries and environments, and do feasibility studies, do the maths to do some joint projects. I'd like to focus on that. And now I'd like to give the floor to our next speaker. Now, speaking of technologies, it's very important, speaking of technological solutions, their efficiency provided through scientific research. But for complex implementation, certainly you need to work with the people. You need training and education system to learn these technologies. And now I'd like to give the floor to Alexander Diakonov, the rector of Almetievsk State Technological University Petroleum High School. And he is going to tell you about how this work is ongoing in terms of training, education, and also working with new technologies. Thank you. Yes, certainly. I'd like to note that I'm very proud of the colleagues and the Republic. The NIS said that they're the only center in Russia tackling the oil and gas research, a very interesting vector of research. And our university also created the only advanced engineering school which specializes on oil and gas. Now, this is a large-scale federal project. 50 leading Russian universities are taking part, and it's a huge honor for Tatarstan that specialized oil and gas school prepares staff of the highest magnitude qualifications, PhD, post-PhD, MC programs, and certainly BC as a base. Now, this is all not created in a vacuum. We are based in Almetievsk. This is the center of the largest Ramashkin oil deposit. And this research, as colleagues mentioned today, we don't have light oil. Well, this research has been running for 80 years. At Almetievsk, we saw the birth of oil production, scientific base for this. Bagulma had an institute from Oil and Gas University. This is our institute that became university, and 2nd of Feb this year, with the participation of Rais of this republic, our campus was opened in a ceremony by the President of Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, especially noting that this is one of the best universities providing great tertiary education. This all became possible through initiatives of our key industrial partner, Tatneft. This Tatoil, this is amazing. When an oil company sees that all the future is education, science, and understanding this, the company has created a unique project with the highest school of oil. And here you see the campus on the map. It's 80% complete. This is new construction, and this provides for synergy between university science, industrial science, and academic science in Russia's Academy of Sciences.
So this is the basis for the development of the high petroleum education in Russia and in the Republic of Tatarstan in particular. So what served as the basis for reviewing our university and training programs? We realized that we need to train specialists in drilling and exploration, and we focused on some key elements to introduce this into training programs. But last year, we had a step-to-step approach. We realized that our university is the body for cooperation with big oil companies, and we should not only train specialists. University should be the trendsetter for oil companies. And if we want to be such a university, we should be the frontiers. We should be the headliners, and we should plan ahead for the next 10 to 15 years. And our key partner now is Tatneft, and we have agreed that now we will pool our forces for creating such a breakthrough projects and organizing fundamental research, and use this research for preparing different training programs, PhD and bachelor and magistrate programs, so that we don't have to keep in pace, but actually we should be ahead of these technologies. And university is the tool which helps to eliminate such gaps in education and practice. And we use as the major system the principle that students should have close cooperation with specialists working in companies. And the first part of the day they have training, and the second part of the day is devoted to their involvement in the development of different reserves. So they serve as the
В связи с тем, что трудноизвлекаемые запасы нефти, нам необходимо максимально извлечь.
Interns. So on the one hand, we should extract oil, but on the other hand, we should have economic advantage, and we should realize this potential, and all this should be the basis for the development of engineering training, using composite materials, substitution of high-cost materials, and the impact on the environment. So this is the major challenge we are facing and we're dealing with. And currently we're designing what challenges we might face and the global companies might face in the future, and we're developing the system for preparing the engineer of the future. And we're starting now a new program within the framework of our advanced engineering school, which is devoted to advanced engineering solutions. We train 5 students in a group, and they enter the company and start the implementation of the project from the beginning till the end. And we're reviewing all systems of training of these disciplines and subjects. And we are quite a small university. We have only 100 professors and teachers in our staff, but we collaborate with our partners, and we are open for cooperation because we want our master program to be spread not only in our university and not only in Russia, but in other countries as well. We're interested in involving the universities of other countries in the development of this program and its implementation. And I would also like to mention what was mentioned by our previous speakers, that we have a strong feature in Kazan University, which helps us to have a breakthrough in the development of certain technologies. We have the scientific basis for such breakthrough technologies, so we have some joint projects with the Federal Kazan University. But the concentration of education and science in one campus helps make our education competitive. Our students understand where they take data for modeling. So thus there is no gap between the designer and the programmer and those who program models. They understand where they take these data, what core is used for getting these data, what experiments and tests were conducted. So thus, the specialists understand the challenges the industry is facing, and they have deep understanding where these data for research are taken. And I would like to mention that in September, we will have the first joint conference with the Kazan Federal University on oil extraction, and I would like to invite all colleagues and speakers from leading universities to participate in this event. And I think this joint work should give us an opportunity to create unique educational programs which will help us to train the engineers of the future for our countries. Thank you. I would like to mention that I would like to underline that you mentioned that fundamental and applied research and academic education serve as the major basis for capital resource development and human resource training. And so when we involve large oil companies as partners, it helps us to create such a basis for training. And I think such cooperation will help us to get more precise data to learn and study any problem in this field. And the previous speakers have mentioned that we're open for cooperation with your colleagues from your countries. We think that it will help us be stronger. And I would also like to note some things which were mentioned, and I recommend to include this in the summary of our session, is training of foreign students, preparing engineering programs, creating individual training courses to train people use specialized technologies which are now being developed. And I think it's a good idea that in September we should take part in the event you're organizing, and I think our esteemed partners will have somebody who would like to be involved in this work, and we could invite them in September and have more detailed discussion. And I would like to give the floor to our foreign participants. We have the presentation of Jazuri Alkaf, the senator of the former Malaysian senator of the State University of Malaysia. And we would be happy to get the feedback from you. Perhaps you can think who we can involve.
Thank you, Mr. Sorokin. First of all, I would like to say thank you for the invitation to Kazan Forum. I would like to personally say thank you to the Rais, the organizers of Kazan Forum, and the Russian Embassy in Kuala Lumpur for the invitation. It's my first time to Kazan, first time to Russia, and I'm starting to like it. I might come in September, hopefully, yeah. So, yeah, interesting discussion that we've heard from our colleagues here, the panelists, and looks like there are ways of cooperation that could be implemented. You see, I come from Malaysia. I come from the state of Sarawak. The state of Sarawak is one of the main producer, if not the producer, of oil in Malaysia. You see, the bilateral trade between Malaysia and Russia amounts to ringgit Malaysia about 13 billion. And the energy sector and oil and gas sector in Malaysia is a very important sector. So in order for us to move forward, there are ways and collaborations where we can make it more sustainable. So that is where I see the cooperation between institutions in Russia could establish that pathway to make our oil and gas industry more competitive, more resilient, more sustainable, and of course less impact to the environmental and social, of course. But I would like to also discuss on how my state, Sarawak, you see, Malaysia has 14 states. One of the major states is Sarawak. Sarawak is now moving towards RE, renewable energy. So in 2010, our usage of fossil fuel to generate electricity was about 90%. So moving towards 2015, we have reduced it down to renewable energy up to 70%. So a huge reduction from fossil fuel towards RE, renewable energy. In renewable energy, we are looking into hydroelectricity, a hydroelectric dam, hydroelectricity. And of course, we have huge land mass, the largest in Malaysia. So we've got solar electricity as well. And we've got, again, the new technology on cascading dam, so which is very interesting. We have biochar, we have biomass. And of course, we've got hydrogen for fuel cell. So the reason why we're moving towards this renewable energy is because the demand of the future and the need for the state, and of course the need for Malaysia to attract investments. So when we talk about investments, a lot of foreign participation for foreign companies, they require part of their financing, they require green energy, green source of energy. So that's why we are moving, actively moving drastically into the need of producing more and more green energy. You see, the target for the state of Sarawak is about 20 gigawatt by 2030. At the moment, we are producing about 5.4 gigawatt. Yeah? So that is not enough. We are almost up to reserve. So there is a need to see how we can generate more green energy in Sarawak. So of course we are looking into oil and gas to be more green in a way, but of course we also welcome knowledge transfer and investment into Sarawak to see how we can participate together in producing more green energy for Sarawak and of course for Malaysia, but importantly for the region. When I talk about the region, it's the ASEAN region, ASEAN ASEAN region. See, the ASEAN region is poised to become probably the fourth or the fifth largest GDP by 2050. Yeah, we're looking about 1.3 trillion USD by 2050. So there's a huge opportunity in the region of ASEAN. When we talk about ASEAN, the biggest player is of course Indonesia is the largest landmass and population. When we talk about potential of high growth, high GDP, meaning it translates into the usage of energy. So when we talk about use of energy, is more and more demand for green energy is being put on us to produce. So we would like to see how the Russians and our colleagues as well, to see how we can work together in this sector, in this region. I think there's a huge potential for huge collaboration. Another thing that I would like to say is as well is that Sarawak is quite unique because we are a state in Malaysia, but at the same time we have huge amount of authority, meaning we control our energy production and we are able to sell our energy. So that is very important. Last year, I will share with our friends and colleagues here, last year there was a bill passed, a bill that goes into Parliament, that the Energy Act amendment, which wanted which the federal government wanted to standardize the supply, energy supply for the whole of Malaysia, and of course the selling. When it came to the upper house, the Senate, which I am sitting last year, so we told the Parliament that we do not want this bill to be an act, because it will affect Sarawak to produce, number one, and to able to sell and put a tariff on this RE or electricity. And our tariff has been the most competitive one in the region. And so that is why we have a huge demand from the Singaporean who wants to buy our electricity. Of course, from Nusantara, the new capital of Indonesia, Indonesia, we are bordering with Kalimantan, the island of Borneo. So they are also requesting about 1,000 kilowatt, 1 gigawatt of electricity. Of course, we are selling back to the peninsula of Malaysia. So there's huge demand on green energy for the state of Sarawak to produce. I think this is another avenue. Yeah, our colleagues here from the institution and of course from the ministry and agencies in Russia, it's something that we would like to see how we can work together and cooperate further in this. That is something I would like to throw back to our friends and colleagues and see how we can maximize the potential of and the strength of both Malaysia and the Russians to work in this ever-growing industry and ever-growing demand for the region. Thank you so much, Mr. Sorokin.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much, Mr. Al-Jazi. And I'd like to note, due to your comments, that in the nearest future we will try and endeavor to make a protocol of our meeting listing the mechanisms of cooperation that were mentioned today. Certainly it won't be an exhaustive list. We need to think and dwell further, not just on the mechanisms, but on implementation in your country, these technologies. But the approach we're discussing today, and I can see if you will allow me to say that you will be ready to become an ambassador of this approach in your country and involve companies and structures from your region to this cooperation. This will be mutually rewarding, and certainly we will be expecting you greatly in September. Let's jointly prepare a platform for the future steps in our collaboration. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now, dear colleagues, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Awad Mohammed, the Minister of Electric Power and Renewable Energy in Libya. Also, as we have just discussed with the colleagues, I think we are very interested in what you have to say. And if you have a few words to comment throughout our discussion, if you have any comments, we'll be greatly happy to hear this. Thank you.
At the outset, I would like to thank the Russian Federation for this invitation and the Republic of Tatarstan to this important Russian Islamic World Exam Forum and comment its prominent role in facing the challenges that opposite the world in the renewable energy sector. I'm honored to stand in front of you today as a Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy of Libya I would like to explain to you that we have two sectors. Oil and gas is one side, and on the other side, the electricity and renewable energy. Yeah. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to thank the Russian Federation and the Republic of Tatarstan for this important conference, Russia Islamic World Kazan Forum, and commend its prominent role in facing the challenges in the opposite world in the renewable energy sector. I'm honored today to stand in front of you as a Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy of Libya. I would like to explain to you and to my colleagues that we have on one side Ministry of Oil and Gas, and on another side Ministry of Electricity and Renewable Energy. For some reason, our apologies that the Minister of Oil and Gas didn't attend this important forum today, but as a Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, I would like to talk about the essential role of renewable energies in reducing the gas emissions and formulating Libyan state policy. From the oil and gas side, I would like to let you know that Libya is the third largest oil reserve in Africa continent, after Nigeria and Algeria. I'm coming from the east part of Libya, Benghazi. We have the very important oil company, Agico, Arabian Gulf Company, which produces the third of the oil in Libya, more than 300,000 barrels a day. In recent years, the urgent need of sustainable energy sources and importance of cooperation in achieving our energy goals and activating the 17th goal of sustainable development have become clear. As we gather here today, it's important to highlight the importance of renewable energy in combining climate change and promoting environmental sustainability. The time to act has come, and Libya has committed to leading transition towards a green future. We, as a member of the Libyan government, start and establish a new program to install 3 gigawatts of solar energy. We start from 1 year ago, and we have signed 2 important agreements. One agreement with the Power China to localize 1 gigawatt solar energy, and the second agreement with the German company Green Cells to localize the 1 gigawatt solar energy photovoltaic. We still have negotiations with many other companies to sign an agreements for the rest of our plan to install the 3 gigawatts. I can take this opportunity that what I have seen from the discussion, it's a good thing that the link between the universities and the institutions to be linked to the real market, because I've seen a lot of technologies has been submitted especially in oil and gas, from our colleagues and the organizers, especially from Kazan Federal University, which is, to be honest, I would like to make a link between these universities and to the ministries like the Ministry of Oil and Gas. And also, at the same time, we have the Minister of Education attending this forum, who has another session, attending another session. So I think this is also an opportunity to make this link between the universities and the Petroleum High School to have a mutual discussion about these new technologies which we can have a mutual interest between Russia and my country. The other thing I think I would like to let you know that I am as a member of the COM, which is the Conference of Ministers of the East Africa Power Pool. There is a very big pool, electricity pool, from the East Africa consists of 13 countries. Libya is a member. This pool established in 2005. Now we are in a stage that we are going very soon to start marketing between those countries, because we have interconnection between Libya and Egypt, and from Egypt to Sudan, from Sudan to Tanzania, and to other East Africa countries. It's very important because we, as a Libyan country, and we as a Ministry of Energy, we focus to increase our generation. All of you, you know that we had a war started in 2011. This may delay the economics in the country, so we work hard to increase our generation to meet our demand. The shortage was more than 3,000 megawatt, 3 giga. All the sources from, for the energy in my country is from the fossil energy. So we succeeded to increase it from 5 gigawatt to 8 gigawatt. We, as a Libyan country, and I am as a Minister of Energy and Renewable Electricity and Renewable Energy, this is the second time to visit Russia. In 2010, before the war, I visited the Russia Federation in Moscow, and I met the minister at that time of the electricity in Russia, and I visited the control system, control center in Russia. At that time was the generation of Russia, 50 gigawatt, and we had a very good cooperation, and we started to do a lot of mutual projects, but because of the war, many things stopped. So now, again, this is a good opportunity. That's why we come to present our country and to see the mutual opportunities that we can do together with the Russian companies and with the Russian country. So electricity, renewable energy focuses on diversifying our energy source. As I told you, that we mainly depend on fossil energy. So now we have a strategy to move to renewable energy, as my colleague from Jaziri, from Malaysia, mentioned, that now we have to move from the fossil energy to the renewable energy, and this is a very important, especially for the environment, and to keep the environment green and clean. Cooperation with the universities and and high institutions and researchers center also supported to develop pilot projects that contribute to raising the efficiency of renewable energy use in Libya. I'm proud to announce to success, as I told you before, that we have our national program to localize 3 gigawatt solar energy. So I'm excited to open the horizon for the cooperation, as I told you, with the Russian companies to share our vision for a sustainable future by partnering with the Russian industry leaders in renewable energy technologies. We can leverage their expertise and resources to accelerate our transition to clean energy. The localizations of renewable energy in Libya is attracting actually the international companies to invest in the sector, representing an important step towards a more sustainable and a pure future. This approach not only enhances the national economy through the diversification of sources of income, but also contributes to enhance energy sources and reducing their dependence on the fossil energies or fossil fuels. In conclusion, I would like to confirm our unwavering commitment to renewable energy and emission reduction. Together we can pave the way for a brighter and cleaner future for generations to come. Let us work hand in hand to build a sustainable and resilient energy sector that benefits our people and our planet. Thank you for your interest, and let us move forward with optimism and determinations towards a green Libya. Thank you to my colleagues, and thank you to all the attendees, and thank you.
Большое спасибо.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. So you mentioned in your speech that you will render information to the Minister for Oil and Gas, and we believe that he could take part in our next meeting, and perhaps he could also bring some oil companies who could be involved in this activity. And I'm sure it would be interesting for Libya. And today we know that the Minister of Education is also present at Kazan Forum, and the Minister of Investment also visited our session today. And I think these people should also be involved in our activity, in our cooperation. And perhaps partner cooperation should be discussed with him. And I hope you will render this information to them, and later we will be able to continue this discussion. And if tomorrow there is such an opportunity, then we could organize such a meeting at this forum. And if tomorrow you have a chance to have a time slot for 15-20 minutes, we could agree our next steps. It's our request. We have contacts, and I think we could organize such a meeting. So please think if there is such an opportunity. Thank you very much for your presentation.
They have to discuss tomorrow in a session. So I will confirm with them to attend this session to discuss, and I will let them to know that this is a good opportunity to discuss with the people who they are interested. Also, I would like to add one thing that I have missed, that we have a discussion now with the Ministry of Energy in Greece, because there is a very ambitious project which we have to link Libya to Greece to export power from green energy to Europe. And this is under discussion, and we have a lot of steps. There is a pilot project, will be 500 megawatt, will be in Ajagboub area. You know that we are in north Africa have a lot of sun and we have high solar level. So from there, we will have a transmission line to one city, to a city called Al Murasas, and from there will be 2 submarine cables with 6 giga to Europe. We are working hardly on this.
Спасибо. Спасибо.
Thank you. So you mentioned about the success of energy transition so that you can meet your needs and also export energy. It depends on the technologies which are applied and how effective they are. And that's why I think we should take this into account during our next meeting. Now I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Tamer Said Al-Shafari. He is the chairman of Transgulf Energy. So we have the same message, I suppose, and you can also tell us what mechanisms of cooperation could exist.
Thank you very much. First of all, to be attending the Kazan Forum and for the invitation from the organizers. It's my first time visiting Kazan, and from what I've seen, it's a beautiful city so far, and I really look forward to visiting again. My company is building a very large plant for desulfurization. We believe that the way forward is in decarbonization and desulfurization of fuels, of fossil fuels, to make it a lot more efficient and economically friendly, not economically, environmentally friendly as well. With the new laws that are coming out regarding, optimizing of the emissions, it's become apparent that a lot of the old refineries that exist in the Middle East need to be modernized. And that is by reducing emissions in every aspect. The last refineries that were built were quite a long time ago, and we've been now seeing new refineries coming up that are taking into consideration all of these environmental issues. Environment is something that is very important for everyone. I would like to start with introducing the decarbonization. Of course, the technological, economical, and operational shifts aimed at reducing carbon emissions within mature oil and gas fields. And this encompasses a range of strategies, including the use of cleaner energy sources, enhancing operational efficiencies, and adopting technologies to capture or convert emissions. And I think there's a lot to do with adopting Russian technologies that are not right now within our reach in the Middle East. We've seen a lot more integration with Russia only in the last few years. And I think it's important that we see more of this integration and more of this cooperation. Everybody looks at lower carbon future. We all want lower carbon emissions. So we're all looking at renewables, we're all looking at coal to gas, we're all looking at hydrogen, and in Oman, we're very focused on the new hydrogen projects. The government has announced 3 major hydrogen projects that are being implemented now. Although we have to leave a future for our oil and gas, because if we drive ourselves out of business as oil-producing countries and go more towards renewables and hydrogen, how are we going to earn our income? This is something that has to be, so the answer lies in the efficiency and the amount of emissions that can come out, and the technology, and enhancing the technology to make it possible for our energy to be used efficiently. storage as well is a very important part. The way we utilize our energy and the way we store it and how we can make and capture the carbon. I have a small sketch here of all the different aspects of, how we're able to reduce all these emissions and also how to utilize and capture the storage. One of the major issues is methane leak detection and reduction, and we talk about that here. And we can now, with the new technologies, even with drones, you can detect that everywhere. The oil field equipment, there's a lot more equipment coming into the world right now, and there's a lot of technologies that are being enhanced in making it a lot more efficient, whether it is through pumps and compressors, mechanical systems and so forth, to make it a lot, long-term cost savings as well as long-term benefits for the oil industry. Integration of renewable energy, solar panels, wind turbines, hydrogen, all of this that I've mentioned already. One of the issues that we're working on as a company is the quality of the marine fuels. After the IMO 2020, it was not acceptable anymore to actually produce high sulfur into the environment and using high sulfur fuels. Whether these high sulfur fuels are being used for the electricity sector or for the marine sector, for the ships, or burning them into the environment was causing a huge problem. So we're creating the largest desulfurization plant in the Middle East right now as a company. And maybe the professor can give us some guidelines or some ideas from our Russian friends on both the technology and the ability to use the best technology for this. IMO 2020 is a important matter when it came out in the year 2020, but now we're talking about a new compliance and new regulation. Even the 0.5% sulfur is not going to be enough. They're talking about 0.05%, which is going to be even more difficult to comply with. And this is a little bit of the discussion over the sulfur and how these challenges can be enhanced and overcome. Of course, the biggest producer of sulfur and into the environment are the ships. Almost 60% of all transport in the world is done through shipping, and that's the biggest consumer of high sulfur fuels. This, of course, will reduce the environmental impact, lower emissions, and of course, it will have positive public image for the companies who are adopting these technologies. And it goes into every aspect of the fuel, and the transportation pollution from air to land, to the sea, to every aspect of it. The market opportunities are huge now for low sulfur fuels, and those sulfur fuels are commanding higher prices. So the lower you get the sulfur into the fuel, the higher your price can be. And this is very attractive for oil companies as well. there's a lot of new technologies that are coming out, especially when it comes to integrating water and hydrogen into the fuels. And I think the more research that is coming out is helping all of this to come out and make it much more efficient, much more price friendly, and bringing it out to the public in a much more efficient way. I encourage the industry to adopt advanced desulfurization techniques. And we see that even in Russia, in the old fields. This is something that we are doing in Oman as well. My colleague, the professor, is talking about Dalil Petroleum, who are very close friends of ours, and we do a lot of business with them. Oman is also facing these old fields that need to be renewed, and the oil is being depleted because these fields have been in, and this actually includes the entire region. Fields, the region has been producing for the last 60 years, and some of those fields are tired, and they need to be renewed and invested in. I'm pleased to have or take any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
Большое спасибо.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shamfari. And I would like to note something. The partners you mentioned from Oman, the companies from your country, we expect them to have a discussion, which we mentioned. And we have quite a tough schedule. We have only 3 minutes till the end of session. So I would like to give the floor to our colleagues for just 2.5 minutes. But unfortunately, they won't be able to have a detailed discussion. I would like to give the floor to the professor and doctor of the engineering technologies, Elena Tищенко. She is the advisor to the dean of the Faculty of Economics, Moscow State University. Elena, you have just a couple of minutes. Could you please present in short the idea of the work which we have started? Because we have a very serious work. And actually, though we talk about technologies, but we are involved in more serious activity, in wide-scale activity. She will explain in short what we are doing. And it would be great if we still have some continuation for our discussion. Dear colleagues, I'm happy to welcome you. Can you hear me? Great. We would like to share our presentation with you. The effects which you mentioned is something which could be calculated. So we have a chance not only to make calculations for investment at a micro level, but also at macro level. So the oil and gas industry is vital for economy, and we calculate data for it at the macro level. And here you can see the presentation, and you can study the effects of this industry in more details later. And machine industry, machine building industry, and many other industries are involved in this. If we talk about the calculation scheme, you can see that we can involve 1 or 2 countries and see the tools for the macroeconomic planning, for the cooperation at the inter-industry level. Let me show you the example. So here we can see what effects exist in different countries. So here we make the calculation of mechanics for the oil and gas industry. That's how we can calculate the introduction of new technologies into oil and gas industry. If we make calculations for this sector, we can also calculate the additional multiplicator effects. And we can also make calculations for the industries which can feel the effects from the development of oil and gas industry, and which can develop further to keep in line with this industry. And we can also see how this industry influences the GDP of the country. So thus we can calculate how these technologies can influence the regional products, for example, in Kazan. And here you can also see what we can calculate for our partner countries. So, for example, Russia can also be the recipient of technologies from partner countries, and we can calculate the multiplicative effect and the influence from this technology which is implemented, and thus we can make calculations for the multilateral effects. Thank you very much, Elena, for your short presentation. So thus, this will be basis for our further discussion. So please think it over, and you're welcome to join our further discussion. We have a lot of additional cumulative effects which occur in the economy of our country and our partner countries, thanks to such technologies. Thank you for such a fruitful discussion, and we wait for you for further discussion. Thank you.